Welcome back to another video. Today is an exciting one because I finally get to do something that I've been wanting to do to the C. It's one of the top 2 mods that you should do to your Z, G, Q, whatever. Number 1 being full exhaust system. Number 2, let me show you. So here's what I got. I got the Z1 long tube intakes, but the race version. That means it comes with a bigger intake instead of that weird little cone looking, I don't know, it just looks weird. And every time I see those in pictures after they've been used for a while, they always look like they've been crushed, collapsed, I don't know. They don't look right to me. So I wanted to go with like the more typical intake that I'm used to, used to owning. But that's basically what this guy looks like. So, and what's cool about this intake is that it has a built-in velocity stack. So basically it means that in here it has a more rounded shape from the air, so that the air can travel and have a less restrictive path to get to the rest of the intake tube back to the engine. Usually those are more desirable than your regular typical intake, which I don't think I have one laying around, where in here, instead of it being kind of like rounded to help the air, it's like more flat. But so anyways, that's the one that I went with. If you do run that, if you are gonna do one of these for the 370, you do need their aftermarket crash bar, which I have over there, and I'll show you in a minute. But so the kit consists of the bunch of silicone hoses, a couple of these couplers, 2 intakes, so basically one of each, right? Left and right side. You have your bunch of clamps. I also ordered the breather tubes that go from the intake piping to the valve cover gasket. Yep. And these are the main tubes that go from the so basically goes like this. This is probably the driver's side, and I got it black anodized, which is nice. I don't remember if there's an additional cost for doing that. I'm gonna wrap mine in that heat wrap, that gold heat wrap shielding tape, because it's metal, it's under the hood, it gets hot. I want to lower the AITs, the intake air temperatures. So, but either way, I wanted to get a nicer looking one than just the regular, not metallic, but the regular aluminum looking one, polished aluminum or whatever. So that's basically the entire kit here. I don't know if I have all the tools that I need. So here's the thing. I want to open up this hole here in the core support, which is made out of some synthetic, not rubber, but like a plastic. It's a really hard plastic. And I've seen people use like electric saws, like reciprocating, I think that's what they're called, electric saws. So there's like a intake tube guide here for the airbox, for the OEM airbox. I believe it's just a 10mm bolt that's in here, and then this comes out, and then that'll free up some room here. I'm thinking I'm gonna remove the headlight so that I have more room. This plastic diversion panel, whatever it is, and obviously I still have to do that one. This one's gonna be the more challenging one because of these AC lines that are running through here. And I bought this thing a couple years ago with this job in mind. It's basically like a Dremel tool, but like a more heavy duty one. It comes with this pedal that helps you adjust the speed, which is cool, which is you know, very useful. And I think I got this at Harbor Freight. By the way, these are the bits I'm using just in case somebody wants to try, you know, do the same thing I'm doing, just to make your job a hell of a lot easier. So they basically have different shapes. The heads have different shapes to them for basically any application. These will go through metal. Yeah, I almost forgot. So this is the crash bar that I was talking about. You're gonna have to, if you get those specific intakes with that the bigger ones, the race version, you're either gonna have to modify your bash bar, which they show you pictures in the instructions. I'll try to put one in there. So essentially you have to cut out like a chunk here so that the intake can sit in there, because this in there with all of this on the way, it just won't work. Really quick, I've never taken the headlight off before, but it looks very simple. There's 4 bolts. There's one here. There's a plastic clip over here, like one of these. Then there's a bolt here. These are all 10 millimeter, by the way. There's one down here at this bracket. There's this one right here on the top by the fender. And then that should be it. You just undo this harness and everything else can just come with the headlight. So here's what I mean. If you stick that tube in here, you see how it goes from this round shape to this oval shape. And when you're trying to get the best airflow, you don't want any disruption in the surface of your intake, right? I know it might be like, you know, I could hear some people saying, it's not a big deal or whatever, but you know, again, I'm trying to get the most gains. I'm trying to make these intakes as nice, best flowing possible. So why not? So literally, I don't have to take off a lot, just a little bit on the sides here. If you're doing 3-inch intakes, you have to take off a lot more. But in my case, I don't. So I'm just test fitting. So this is basically how it's gonna look. I don't like that it's sitting right on the bar. Oh, this is a crash bar. So this is what it looks like, or the bash bar. So the intake's literally sitting on it. So I'm probably I'm thinking of taking these clips off, this wire, and then tucking it in, like doing it backwards, tucking it in on the inside, so that it's not, you know, right over this or blocking this or sitting right on it. I don't know, make it a little cleaner. So here's where I'm at. I've been going at it for a while, and I have it trimmed as good as I'm gonna get it trimmed. This area is a little tricky because of the AC lines. I kind of nicked a little bit, but you know, it's not enough to be concerned. It's just scratched. Welcome back to another day. So I went to town on this thing because I'm like, if I'm already cutting up all this stuff and I went through all the trouble to doing all of this, why not just do everything, cut everything now that I'm in here. So I think you can see that. Yep. So now the intake, coupler, or this piece of the intake system, clears the metal in here, and it looks like all scratched up because I was trying to file that down. But you know, if that ever bothers me enough, I could always take some like gray primer. But I think now, oh, and I started wrapping the intakes tubes with, this is like HVAC tape that you can find at your Home Depot or Lowe's. So I'm doing one layer of that one on both, and then I'm doing this guy, which I think I showed earlier in another clip. All right, getting there. It takes a lot of work. I wanted to do it right. I didn't want to half-ass it and then be lazy and regret it later that I didn't go the whole way. It's another day and it's finally starting to look like something. So this whole left side, the passenger side, is installed. The gold reflective DEI, I think, tape is installed. The breather hose is installed. That guy, I had to cut the ends down a little bit, like that much at each end, because I'm running throttlebodyspacers. Same thing I had to do on that car. So I was kind of already knew what I needed to do, so it saved me some time. And so if you can see, I have the oil cooler line routed exactly the way I had it basically figured out in my head. I went to go buy these wire ties and it worked perfect. It's not touching the intake there, and it's already, I already tightened it down. I made this little bracket here, so that's pretty good, and I know it's not going anywhere. It's pretty stiff. So I took the L-shaped bracket basically that came with the kit, and then I took the other bracket and I just flattened the crap out of it, and it fits perfect. So that ain't going nowhere. Unfortunately, I had to use zip ties because if I don't, then this intake just sits on this bar, and I don't want that because it's just gonna make all kinds of, you know, vibrations, and I'm definitely gonna feel that, and it's gonna drive me nuts. So I gotta figure out a way of making some kind of bracket that maybe attaches to the bar and holds the intake up. Maybe from both sides, one from up here and then one down here. I don't know yet, but for now I have a zip tie pulling it up, a zip tie pulling it down, so it's kind of like creating like a floating bracket in a way. So it might still vibrate, I don't know. I won't know until I drive it. Hopefully it won't be too bad, but right now it's clearing everything. It's clearing the bottom, it's clearing this top here. Even if it bounces up, it's not gonna hit that bracket there, and it's not gonna hit the bash bar. I did all the hard stuff. This tough stuff actually takes a really long time. I've already done it in that car, so I kind of already knew what needed to be done. The little roll I bought when I bought the intakes, I think I got this from Z1, so I'll put this in the description if you want to do the same thing. Guys, welcome back to another day. Been working on the car a little bit here, a little bit there, and so right now I'm just warming up the oil. Looks like I'm at 181, so I should be good. I've been trying to keep it around 3,000 RPM so that when I go above that, I can really tell. I can pretty much tell at idle. The car's actually idling a lot better than it ever has, and I'm feeling a little bit of better throttle response from first gear. So we'll see right now what it feels like when we take this to redline. Not sure if I'll be able to hear the intake screaming. I doubt it because they're hiding in the bumper really well. But we'll see. In fact, might do something here. Yeah, like definitely a lot better, for sure. Definitely feels a lot smoother throughout the RPM. Feels pretty strong. Definitely accelerates a lot faster. I was in 4th gear. So with over time as I drive it, it'll feel a lot better because obviously the computer will be readjusting and learning the additional airflow going through the mass sensor. So over time it's gonna feel better and better. I don't feel any weird vibrations at idle, so the intakes aren't really rubbing up against anything, the bumper, the bash bar, anything. Otherwise that would transfer into the cabin somewhat. Pretty happy with that. Before, when I had the stock gearboxes with the K and N drop-in filters, like you could just feel that the engine would just fall on its face, like in the mid range, and then and anything past 4,000 RPM, you could just tell that it was just falling on its face. Wasn't breathing good enough. But now it definitely feels like it feels smoother all the way through to redline. There's no difference between at the low end, mid range, and the redline. So all that work definitely feels satisfying. It feels rewarding because now I'm out and enjoying it, and I'll be able to have fun in it now. Car's been sitting for 2.5, almost 3 weeks because I've been working on it a little bit here, a little bit there after work. Obviously, I have a regular 8 to 4 job, so working on it after work and on the weekends when I can, because obviously I don't want to be working on I don't want to be using it on my entire weekend. I do have a family and we do want to go out and do things. But anyways, so do I recommend these? Yeah, definitely 100%. If you don't, you know, if you don't have any 2.5-inch intakes, is you know, the way to go. For me, the race ones had to be it, because again, I didn't really like those other cone shaped ones that were, I don't know, always looked like they were like collapsed, because I don't know, maybe the intake, you know, suction, because again, you know, the engine's a big pump, so I don't know, maybe those collapse over time. But if you're gonna do those on the 370, you have to get the aftermarket bash bar. So still have to figure out how to hold those intakes up better. Maybe make some bracket. I think I've seen people do custom brackets. If I'm remembering correctly, I think admintuning, Meixsell from admintuning has something for that. I have to go look. But anyways, I'm happy. Hope everybody's having a good week. Weekend's almost here for me, so thanks again for watching. Hopefully this, I don't know, gave you something, gave you some kind of insight or an idea of what you want to do when it comes to intakes. I know eventually I'm going to do the 3-inch ones. I do have a set of 3-inch intakes that I don't know if I'm going to do on the G or on this one. And eventually, you know, this one's going to get a tune, hopefully soon. But again, thanks again for watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and you guys have a good one, and I would see you at the next one. One last thing, look at the outside temps, 75, and look at the intake air temperatures, 90. So to me, that's pretty good. That DEI gold heat reflected tape, whatever it's called, it's definitely doing its job.